With the warmer weather coming, I thought it was a good time to clear out these strawberries, and if I need to replace any I can, and certainly a few weeds including docks and stinging nettles in here, so I'm going to give it a good clear out and see how I get on. Pretty much everything in that bucket was dead, so there are plenty of new runners to go in there, and I'll need to refresh that soil a little with some feed. This one has got plenty of good looking strawberry plants in it that I'll just clean up and protect. There's quite a lot of inherent risks in just repotting these strawberries back into old compost in these pots. In this soil there's quite a lot of grubs, quite a lot of snails, and also some of the dreaded vine weevil grubs, and there's nothing that really kills them effectively. But compost is at a premium, it's difficult to get, it's expensive, so I'm just going to work with what I've got, and any of the strawberries that I get out of here will be a bonus. So in the meantime I'm going to add some slow release fertilizer just to give them a bit of a push, and I'll mulch on top with some semi-rotted compost just to keep the moisture in, and again it'll feed them a little. So this barrel or water container has got a bit of a lean on it, and before I fill it up for the season I need to get it level, so I'm going to pull it out, find out what the problem is, and then put it back, and hopefully I can fill it up and we'll get maximum capacity then, rather than lose the top edge of this container. So that was pretty hard work. The wood underneath this barrel is completely rotten, and so I've tried to replace it with some plastic pallets. Hopefully these will resist any break and strain from the weight of the water, and of course they won't rot. So we'll just try and get it back in place now We need that height because I want to put a watering can under the tap, and hopefully this will work out. I know summer's come when I'm filling my tanks. I mentioned in one of my earlier videos that I needed to protect the cosmos seeds. The cosmos seedlings last year got eaten completely. They got to about that high. I put them out and they were gone in a couple of days. So I'm going to try this slug repellent. This is a copper tape and it goes round a pot, and the idea is that when the slugs approach it, they deflect back because of a small electrical charge that's generated by the copper tape. These are 2-meter tape boxes. They were £1 in our low value shops called pound shops, and I'm going to give them a try. Good morning everybody. Well, it's a beautiful sunny April day, warmer than it should be, but we're making the most of it. The temperature at the moment is 26.6 degrees centigrade, and it got pretty warm in here yesterday, hence I've opened the blind at the back of the polytunnel just to allow some air to flow through. Today I'm going to be doing some strimming, get the grass under control in the plot. It's lovely to have grass, but it is a bit of a job, certainly on a plot this size. Keeping on top of the mowing and the strimming, that's part of it, so we'll do that later on. This morning I'm going to pot on a couple of these trays that I put together earlier. These were sown on the 19th of March. This is Calabrese quick heading, and I'm also going to pot on the Romanesco, which was also sown on the 19th of the 3rd. And I use these small trays because space was beginning to get at a premium, and now I have to pay my dues and pot these on, prick them out and put them into small pots. and that way I get a good plant for when I want to plant them in the allotment. There we are, pricking out done. That's one small tray of Romanesco, and there's 4 rows there of Romanesco, and the quick heading Calabrese weren't quite so many, so there's 3 rows there, and all I do is put one tag in to mark the edge of each row so that I don't end up having to write hundreds and hundreds of tags. And I also potted on these 4 calendula. They were all that came up of the sowing. Sowed those on March the 1st, so that'll be nice in one of my pots that I've put the Slug defense in. Just a quick look at the seeds that I sowed just the other day, 7th of April, and there we have the rocket coming up and the broccoli coming up. Other than that, no shows, and over here nothing on this beetroot or giant collie at the moment. These are a bit of a disappointment. This is the Cosmos Millennium. We seem to have one, I think, probably coming up there, and then the best of all, which has been a problem, the Swede germination has been slow, although I clearly have another 4 come up there. So there's 7 in there, but there's plenty more that I've sown in due course. Strawberries. I noticed yesterday that we've got some flowers on them already. So these were the ones that were sown back in, I want to say February. I'd have to look at a previous video. But we've also got some buds there. So these are really cracking on, and it won't be too long before we're seeing strawberries. When you use horse manure like I've been doing, especially the raw horse manure in the mix, you do get these little tufts of grass come up, and if you let them, they'll get into a reasonable sized plant. If you keep on top of them, they come to nothing, and it only takes a few seconds every day just to get rid of any of the grass that's germinating from seed. So today I'm going to do some strimming. This is the first time I've used this machine this year. So this morning I've cleaned the sparking plug just with a bit of sandpaper and wiped it down. I've also topped it up with fuel and made sure it's fresh and soaking. And just as a tip with a strimmer, especially if it's a petrol strimmer, what you can do is, once you've primed it, which is usually 3 depressions of this petrol bubble, and you put the choke on, and then rather than just keep pulling it to start it, actually engage it and press the trigger as though you were using it. And this, for me, certainly starts a machine that's been stored away that much easier. Before I use the mower, I've got some repairs to do. Last year these nuts, they came out, they vibrate gradually and loosen, which means the handle's loose. So during the winter months I've got some spares, and these handle fly nuts also, they break as they're plastic. So again, over the winter I bought a few spares. I'm also going to clean the filter in the mower so that the airflow is good, and I'll replace the spark plug. I'll also, on this 4-stroke motor, change the oil, and so that it's got fresh oil for the coming season. Another beautiful April day. So today we're going to do the membrane, make sure it's pinned down to the plot, and then plant the fruit. That should be the fruit garden pretty much nailed, apart from sowing some seeds and doing the flower bed. Yesterday I did the strimming and the mowing. Thought I'd give you a quick view of what it looks like the following morning. So this is the membrane that I need to pin down. I need to do these edges where it meets the other membranes that I fixed, and I've put cardboard underneath here just as a further weed suppressant. I need to clean up the grass clippings from yesterday, and then just cut these edges so that we get it nice and flush, and pin it down in all areas. And the pins I'm going to use are these metal pins. They're a lot cheaper than the plastic ones that I was using, and hopefully they'll do the job. There's 100 there, and I'll pin down everywhere I need to, keep some spare in case any blows up during the winter. And then when I've got the membrane down, I'll cut some holes in and plant these remaining fruit bushes so that the fruit garden's well on its way. So there we are, the membrane is down, and I learnt a few lessons doing that job. The metal staples are much better than the round plastic pegs. You get more for your money, and they seem to pin it down tighter, which is nice. But combination of the two's done the job, and there you can see the membrane right across the plot now. And that will save me days and days and days of weeding and work. And this plot always was going to be a low maintenance plot, taken over primarily because it was left to rack and ruin, and was not only unsightly but throwing lots of weed seed over the rest of my plot. So that's changed the tide, and we now have a really strong fruit garden. So my next step is to get the last remaining fruit pots into the ground and get them underway. Just look at this pear tree. Beautiful, and I hope that that indicates that I'm going to get a lot more pears this year. And the new growth, which you can see at the top, it's got no flowers on it, and the older growth has the flowers and bears the fruit. So once again, I'm going to use the cook's torch to cut round the pots, and that'll seal it at the same time. And then I've got the perfect size holes to plant these rhubarb down into. And there we go. 3 perfectly round, perfectly positioned holes ready for me to dig out and plant these rhubarb. So I'm going to put a bit of feed in the bottom of this for the rhubarb. This is quite a shallow plant inside here, and I don't want this too deep, but I'm going to put some compost in the bottom and then put the rhubarb on top and then add some mulch. Compost at a premium now. I'm going to use the soil that I'm taking out of this bed to plant the fruit bushes, and I'm going to sieve it into these pots that I've prepared, which have got the slug deterrent on them, and then I'll put a bit more compost on top for the various flowers that I'm going to plant in. But this will bulk up the pots with soil that's been screened. do hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and if you want updates from me each time I upload a video, click the bell and select all. I do hope you have a great day. Diolch yn fawr.